quarter there when it seemed like you turned things around?
Yeah, I think we just had great defensive energy. We try to talk about playing Laker basketball. We're really flying around on the defensive end, getting stops without fouling and getting us out on the break. I think we had a couple possessions where we were able to attack before the defense was set because we put together some stops. So this game was won the whole fourth quarter with our defense, and it's a tough place to win, so it's a good win for us.
And Frank, what were you thinking with the nine-man rotation, and how did you think that played out as the game went on?
Yeah, these are not easy things. We just felt like we're trying to get a lot of guys in there. Play a 10-man rotation with two guys playing 37, 38 minutes. Can be difficult for guys to get rhythm. So we just wanted to look at what a shorter rotation would look like. A couple guys have to sacrifice. Wes and Keith didn't get in there. We asked them to be pros, and the guys that did play, get a little bit extra run to get a little bit better rhythm. So, I don't know how much of a difference it made, but we were able to get the W. So we're all happy about that.
No. Hey Frank, you're looking a little less fuzzy now that you guys are back on the winning side of things. Back to the rotations, how much harder is that when you are dealing with veteran players like Wesley and Markeith, who were free agents this summer, obviously had options with where they would go and presumably had roles in mind? I mean, just how much harder does that make the calculus for you?
Yeah, it's the toughest part of the job, to be honest. You got guys that are really good players that deserve minutes that you don't have minutes for. It's difficult. They're tough conversations, but those two guys are consummate pros, and this is not something permanent. This is we lost two in a row. Let's get a win tonight, and go game to game from there. And we'll continue to evaluate what we got to do with our rotation to get W's.
Frank, I was just kind of wondering if you could take us in some of those final sequences, especially on offense. What were you looking for? How did the Celtics respond? And as a follow-up, that the AD was talking about the transition defense on when Kemba got the steal and was able to take it back. What happened there that prevented them from getting the easy basket?
One of the best defensive players of the year. I mean, we just run. We got a late game set that we've been running. They got us the lead in Philadelphia. Boston guarded it a little bit better tonight, but we still were able to get AD the ball in a great spot with good space to go to work in the post. They made a strong defensive play and got a strip and had an opportunity to run out and win the game. But Alex just flies from the corner out of nowhere and gets ahead of the play, gets a deflection, slows down Brown, and then Dennis raced back into the play as well. That's what we've been talking about. All trip is just improving our transition defense, that type of urgency, and obviously with the game on the line, those two guys getting back and get in front of the ball, both with Brown and with Kemba on that last play by Dennis, really saved the game.
Frank, you guys do so much film work. I'd assume that if you're ever looking for an example of how just hustle can make a difference in a game, that you pick that snippet of Alex. Can you just kind of talk a little bit more about the impact something as simple as just putting your head down and running as hard as you can make in a game like this?
Yeah, well, we talk. That's part of the play harder than your opponent identity is who's changing ends harder. Who's changing ends, running the floor offensively, who's sprinting back harder defensively. The sprint versus a jog mindset. Good job. I'll talk to you soon. They're all things that we preach every day, that we continue to coach and hold guys accountable for. And, quite frankly, we haven't done it well enough the first few games of this trip. But we had a pretty solid performance in that regard tonight.
Dave?
How much of your performance on the stretch was different versus the Detroit game by just virtue of having Anthony Davis out there, and how much was it your approach was tightened up a little bit, wanting to end that two-game losing streak?
I think all of that. Anthony obviously always helps in everything we do. We solidified some things with the rotation, so guys were able to get a little bit better rhythm going into that fourth, and like I said, I think everything you just mentioned contributed to the W.
Last two questions, Jovan.
Hey Frank, I'm curious, with the new bench kind of rotation of shortening it, you had a lineup out there with Trez, Kuz, LeBron, THT, and Alex that had only played 10 minutes before tonight. What did you think of that group? Because it was obviously very successful to start the second and fourth.
Yeah, I like the energy that they had. You know, I mean, Alex and Kuz and Talon and really Trez, like all four of those guys are hard-playing dudes. You know, and you know, we haven't seen that lineup primarily because we haven't seen a lot of Talon, Horton, Tucker. You know, we want to get in there, but it's, you know, again, these are tough decisions. You know, Wes Matthews is a heck of a player and sacrificed the game tonight to get Talon some minutes. Keith as well. You know, those guys are major contributors for us. We've got a lot of depth, so we intend to use it.
David.
Hey, Coach. Eddie, during the TV interview after the game, said something about going back to be the old AD. How much important is for you to have him play with the determination he had offensively in this game, and also the impact he had on the?
Yeah, look, it's, you know, this is a different type of season. You know, you win a championship, his first championship, and, you know, all of a sudden your off season is cut short dramatically. And, you know, so there's you don't have the normal build-up, getting your legs under you, getting prepared for the season. So we knew the first part of the season, you know, there was going to be a little bit of, you know, let's just, you know, get our ramp up, you know, as comfortable as possible. And, you know, he's built up. He's getting into that mode right now. He's really starting to pick it up. The injury set him back a little bit by missing the game the other night and being injured throughout the Philly game. But we want him to be assertive, and when he's assertive on both sides of the ball, you know, we're very difficult to beat. So, you know, I was happy with how he played tonight.